everyone, and welcome back to MILF Era. No one asked for this, but I did bring Chris back on. we we are also live on video, so if you want to catch us live and see what's happening behind the camera or behind the whatever I'm recording on, the microphone, you can do that on YouTube. But anyways, I asked you guys to submit your questions that you have for Chris, and there's some good ones. I don't like to prepare him, I want his honest answers right here, right now. So he has no idea what you guys asked, and he's going to answer them on the fly. So anyways, welcome, Chris.
Great to be back. I think I'm third time on. Probably the most popular guest you've ever had. So really appreciate everyone's demands and wanting me back on.
I don't think anyone demanded that, but if that's what lets you have a good day today, I'm here to, I'm happy to feed that delusion.
I live in my own world. It's fine.
Okay, so as you guys know, we're pregnant with baby number 2. I'll be 10 weeks this week, which is wild because how are we already at 10 weeks? Anyways, that's not the way. So, first question. This is actually a good one because it's not.
Dad.
Shut the fuck. Okay, so someone asked, was there ever a time where he didn't want kids, and what shifted for him to be like, okay, yes? Why I said this is funny is because Chris, from the day I met this man, he's always talked about wanting to be a dad and wanting multiple kids. It was me. I know you're shocked. I didn't want any kids. I heavily fell into like, kids are going to ruin your life. I don't need kids to be happy. And I didn't want kids at all. So you guys can imagine when I got pregnant after dating him for 3 months. You heard that right. 3 months. He knocked me up. I was not thrilled. Obviously, it's the best thing that happened to me, right? But it wasn't necessarily a shift that he had to make. I had to do all the shifting. But what's your perspective on that? Like, what's your POV?
I've always had that, big dad energy. But yeah, I definitely always wanted to be a father. Definitely not as early as it happened.
I mean, he was 22. I was 25.
Yeah. I was 9 months out of college when we found out. So life got real really quick. But yeah, I always wanted to be a dad. I think the plan I had was to probably become a dad closer to in my 30s, or late 30s.
His higher self had other plans.
Yeah, and I was very career driven. So that to me was the only reasoning I had to wait to want to have kids. But yeah, I grew up with a brother, and my dad had me when he was 40, 41. And then yeah, I just
the man knew he wanted to be a dad.
I think I knew. I always wanted 2 or 3 was what I told myself. But I had secretly had, not many people knew this. No one really knew this, I hope. But I had a full list of names in my phone.
You guys, literally when I got pregnant, 3 days after, after he had
3 hours after.
No, probably after he had settled down and we were okay, this is happening, we're gonna do this. He pulls out a list of his phone, and it wasn't just a couple names. No, it was 25 boy names and 25 girl names, and we were going through them, and I'm like, what? Girls have this? No, Chris, he was prepared. I will say though, you did much better when I told you I was pregnant this time than when I told you the first time.
Yeah, I didn't throw up twice. It was...
Or when I told him the first time, so I lived in D.C., he lived in Baltimore, which if you don't know, it's a 45-minute drive, but it depends on traffic. It could take you 2 hours. Who could be too sure? But anyway, so he was working that day in Baltimore, and I called him, and I'm like, hey, we need to talk when you get home. And he's like, okay. Calls me back 10 minutes later, and he's like, if you're going to break up with me, just do it now.
I don't want to do the drive again. Figured get it out of the way, rip the Band-Aid off. It was a Tuesday morning after St. Patrick's Day too. So at that time in life, I was probably a little hungover. little beat up.
But yeah, it didn't break up with them. Obviously, I was like, no, quite the opposite. Actually, you're stuck with me for a little bit longer.
And then I remember when she told me she was pregnant, I remember subconsciously being like, be very careful about what your next words are. And I think I just said, all right, we'll figure it out. And then the conversation ended pretty quick after that, just because both got off the phone and both were in shock. At the time, my office had this loading dock, and I walked out too, and really was just walking out to get some fresh air. And yep, threw up once, walked back in, walked immediately back out, threw up in the same spot, and then just sat at my desk with my hand in my head, head in my hand for probably an hour and a half, just being like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? Before she called me, I was on the phone with my best friend, and he was like, dude, you're living it up, you're having the best time, you're getting bottle service, you're going to all these bars, it looks so fun. I was like, yeah, man, it's been a good run, I'm having a blast.
And that's the day it was cut short.
Yeah, that is
which was for the best.
Well, I got to enjoy it for another 4 or 5 months, as we had to not tell anyone that you were pregnant.
Yeah, we didn't until 20 weeks, until I physically couldn't. I was showing too much at that point, right? I couldn't hide it. I've told this story, but it was I felt I was very career oriented too, and I felt like they weren't going to like that I was pregnant, and I was right. They didn't. Intuition knew.
What was a good call?
Yeah, but we lived, we learned, we figured it out. But I also didn't want a second child. I was heavily against that. And I've talked about this as well, if you've been following the podcast, how I've shifted that and how we worked around that. We're still shifting. Let's be honest. I'm getting my ass handed to me in reflections left and right. And so we're still shifting some things, right? But nonetheless, here we are. I have accepted that I can indeed have another child. Chris is thrilled. Again, he wanted multiple kids. And it's right after I popped Tatum out, are we going to have another one? I'm like, absolutely not. And this is why it's 6 years later.
Yeah, I just figured after the first one, you might as well just get them all done. Not my body, though. So, a little naive on my part, but
here we are. All right, next question. What excites him most and what scares him most about baby number 2? Y'all got the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah. I'll answer what scares me the most. I think going back to the not getting a ton of sleep.
Yeah.
Early on is tough, just because it stretches a household thin. Everyone's call it patience, and it's just a little bit thinner. It's probably the only thing I'm really
I'll tell you what, dads have way more sleep than moms.
100%, yeah. Especially if you sleep like me and you're not very good at getting up.
You guys
might
have to get him a shock.
That I'm scared of, because if it's anything like last time, I will wake up to Keisha either strangling me or with a fist ready to just knock me out. And I'm like, I'm up.
Yeah, but he's not, though. He'll literally tell you he's up and his eyes aren't awake, so he'll stare at you in his eyes, with his eyes on you, and lights are on and no one's home. And it's that's when I've never hit him. Have I thought about it? Yes.
Yeah.
There's times where I'm just going to swing as hard as I can, and that'll wake him up. I don't do it.
Probably when I wake up, to be honest.
And wake up and go, what's this bruise from?
Well, there's times that I would get up and literally be up moving, and then I'd walk back in the room and be like, what am I doing? And
which is terrifying, because we lived in a 1-story place when Tatum was a newborn, and now right now we live in a 4-story townhome. We're about to move. We found a new house, guys. We haven't signed on it. We signed on it in mid-November. But anyway, there's stairs in that one too. I can't be having him going, sleepwalking down the stairs. I'm going to have to figure that out.
I'm going to put a fridge, a little mini fridge upstairs.
You don't need a fridge.
Whatever. I don't know. What's the second part of the question? What am I most excited for?
Yeah, what are you most excited for, baby number 2?
Nothing in particular about like the baby stage, other than like holding your child for the first time. That's awesome.
He thrives in the toddler stage.
Yeah, I'm more of like a toddler guy. But it like I think the thing I'm most excited for now is figuring out like how am I gonna love like I love Tate so much. How am I gonna love this kid as much, and how am I gonna like split my heart?
Yeah.
Um,
And split your time.
and split my time and my attention. So I think that is like both like what I'm most excited for and to figure out, but also like probably what I'm most scared for is how does all of that happen, and is it going to happen immediately? Is it going to happen over a course of time? I don't really know.
Okay, me too, sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping this kid's going to be nicer than Tate. So time will tell. I'm pretty positive that she's not going to be, and Tate's actually the sweet one. So
Tate's nice. Tate is just sassy.
very sassy.
And she, she can talk shit already, and she hits you where it hurts. Not so much to me, like we're BFFs, but she'll go after Chris. She told Chris one time, "You look like a gnome."
Yeah.
I almost fell out of my chair, and I think he almost cried.
She also calls me Short King. My little dad's my Short King.
Except when she needs something, and then she'll tell him how strong he is, and she'll
Yeah.
call him Hulk.
Yeah. My favorite's Tall Hulk.
Tall.
Like, thanks, Tate.
She's smart. She's learning how to do, what she needs to do to get what she wants. And she's going to be a hustler. That girl's going to be a hustler. Were you surprised it was a girl?
No. God, no. We could have done, we didn't even have to test for gender. I knew it was going to be a girl.
See, I did too, but I let the people on the internet get in my head. Everyone was like, it was a boy, it's a boy.
No.
And I'm like, no, it's not. I've been seeing this kid for 2 years.
There's never even a
But I let you guys get in my head, and I
boy.
I had anxiety about it. You guys literally gave me TMI, diarrhea, because I was so anxious about it.
Okay. Next.
Anyways, please don't act like you've never had it.
I've seen some shit.
Literally and figuratively.
Okay. Next.
Next question. How has being in your relationship healed your individual growth? You go first.
How's it healed my individual growth?
Yeah, like how has us being in a relationship both helped our individual growth?
Damn, these are the hard-hitting ones. The biggest one, and I don't know why this has been like a recurring theme for me. Recurring theme for me lately that I've been like communicating to others is there is a time in my life, and probably multiple times, where Keisha just told me, she was like, I wish you would love yourself as much as I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was like really hard to hear, while also like reassuring to hear, because like I knew how much Keisha loved me, but for her to like vocalize that and say like literally like I love you more than you love yourself most of the time was very eye-opening for me. And it made me realize that like I have someone in my life who loves me unconditionally and who like works to love me. Why don't I do that for myself?
And that's where the inner work started.
Yeah. And I think like, I don't know, my big thing on that is I wish more people realized that they were worthy of unconditional love. And I think like, I'm not very religious other than going to 18 years of private Catholic school, humble brag. But I feel like I'm kind of like a born again like Catholic or Christian just because I realized that like I've accepted that like God loves me unconditionally. And God can be source, it can be whoever that higher power is. But I've realized that like I'm worthy of unconditional love, and I've allowed myself like the grace in my life for that love to exist and to feel it. And then maybe more importantly, I've been more able to like unconditionally love other people.
And see, this is what I talk about with soul contracts. Like everyone makes a contract before coming to Earth, before they are reincarnated. Anyways, but you have contracts with every single person in your life. So one of the things in our contract, right, was me teaching him unconditional love. And, you know, on the flip, we reflect each other. He reflects the fuck out of me to very extremes. I can go on for days about this, but what it does is it lights a fire under my ass. Like, it makes me so fucking mad that I then take action and get my head out of my ass and do what I need to do. And I don't give a shit. I'm like, fuck him, fuck everyone. I'm going to do this and I'm going to succeed and I'm going to rub it in your face. And then 3 days later, he's like, how'd you do that? I'm like, well, you pissed me off last week.
Why is that the voice to mock me?
Because it sounds like you.
Like, it sounds
Tate uses
like
the
me.
same one.
Yeah,
So that's 2 against 1.
She uses the same voice for everybody. But yeah, I also think like knowing that you've loved me through like different phases of my life and different like seasons, whatever people want to call it, was like reassuring to me to know that like, yeah, even though we're not married, we've decided to love each other through like the good and the bad.
Mm.
And I think like that's the thing I've like valued, or not. My perspective has changed the most over the years, like coming up on 8 years now. I don't know.
What a whirlwind.
That loving your partner isn't always sunshine and rainbows, and it's like it's a lot more work, and it's a lot more of a choosing to love someone and choosing to love every version of them.
But what if we learn that you have to love yourself first, because
Yeah.
you can't love others if you don't love yourself?
Yeah. And there's even times where like, I don't know, right away you may not like agree with like the person or like what they want to do, but still finding a way to love them.
Yeah.
And working to love them and working to understand like their perspective and where they're coming from. Like we've talked about it before, but I think the easier thing for us to have done in the past would have been just
Break up.
see you later.
Time ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's why we do 2-year contracts. We've got a 90-day period at the end of each contract where we decide if we want to re-up or not. Get the lawyers involved and, you know.
No, but what a lot of people don't understand is relationships are highly reflective, but people don't understand reflections. They don't understand that your partner is literally reflecting those inner wounds within yourself. So sure, I can leave him. I can leave him tomorrow and be mad about all the things that he's done. But guess what? I'm going to go get in a new relationship and that person's going to do the exact same things because I haven't healed that. But that's the way people don't understand about reflections. If you don't heal it, you're just going to create it times 2, times 3, times whatever in your next relationship until it forces you to heal it. So that's why relationships are beautiful things, because it really is pushing that healing to another limit, and it's making you, I mean, for better or worse, be a better person. Now, are you in the trenches at times? Sure. But do you?
Times.
A few times a month, probably.
But she also knows if she were to leave me and find someone else, I'd become best friends with that guy.
You're already in my fucking life because of your daughters. So.
Yeah, that's true. I tell that to a lot of my friends. I'm like, before you have sex with someone, think about if you had a kid, would you be able to deal with them if you guys weren't together? And they don't really comprehend that. So hasn't really been landing yet, but
the people don't understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you though. I'm extra sassy this pregnancy, and I've been giving it hard to him, and he's survived.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah. All right, next question. How is this pregnancy different than the last? Like your point of view?
Oh shit. Well, to put it in reference, we are not moving across the country.
God. Yeah, you guys, we drove a U-Haul from Washington, D.C. to Dallas. I was 6 months pregnant. The seats didn't recline, okay? Chris didn't know how to work the windshield wipers for the first 2 hours and it was raining. So we already don't have that stressor, so that's a win.
Yeah.
But are we also moving this pregnancy? Yes.
But like what?
But down the street.
Yeah, like
Not a 22-hour drive.
distance. We can actually afford movers this time.
I had movers last time. I literally had
No, I mean like I don't have to drive a fucking U-Haul
Oh.
to.
Yeah, don't you
the
guys wait.
trucks.
I had movers come to my apartment, load the U-Haul, and then when we got to my apartment in Dallas, or our apartment in Dallas, they unloaded it.
Yeah.
So all I had to do was drive a U-Haul, okay? Wasn't that crazy. Anyways,
I
continue.
did all the driving.
Well, yeah, who would want me to drive?
I mean, yes, but I still had to drive.
Although you hit a curb the other day. He likes to give me shit for hitting a curb. This man, we were touring the house that we're going to get and turned out and hit a fat curb. There's marks on my tire. And he didn't even, we tried to give him shit. He was like, no, I don't want to hear it. That came out of nowhere. Like, yeah, well, when I say it, how come it's a whole situation? But you don't see a curb that came out of nowhere and it's just a Tuesday.
I had both wheels. I'll own it, but I do.
My fucking car. My car's
I
way
don't
nice.
that often. Dude, don't bash on my car.
I'm just
Does it
saying.
need some TLC? Yeah.
Anyways, how's this pregnancy different?
Yeah, so we don't have to move across the country. We're a lot more solid in our relationship. Like we actually know each other.
I'm getting along with his family. So
That's been
that took a few years. That was also, it was reflections, right?
yeah.
Highly reflective situations. We're all good now. But at that time, it wasn't.
It was not. Also, my family made it very difficult for them to be I don't know,
To get along.
to get along the first time. I'm like, I look at Keisha, and one of the things I'm most excited for her is that like she has people around her that are excited that she's pregnant and like don't really look at it as like a burden on their friendship or on her.
I don't think anyone necessarily looked at it as a burden, but they didn't really know how to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so now that like she has like people around her that know how to be there, they're excited for her, they want to celebrate her and like celebrate like all these like kind of like little milestones that happen throughout pregnancy, that I'm like really excited for. For me, like I actually have friends who are also parents and who have had second kids, and
We have a lot more support.
yeah, just a lot more support.
And I also didn't have to hide it for 20 weeks. I told you guys when I was about 3.5 weeks. So, you know, you've been here. Basically, the moment I found out, you guys found out too, right? Like, I took a pregnancy test Sunday. I told you guys on Monday. So,
Yeah.
we're BFFs around here. You think I
Yeah.
can keep these kind of secrets to myself? No. Who would I chat to? Chris?
I hear enough. I'm trying to think of like what else is different. I mean, literally everything is fucking different.
I mean, I'm not depressed. So,
Yeah.
that's a huge thing.
I was gonna let you tell that story. Not story, but perspective.
Well, I mean, the people want to hear it from your perspective. I tell my perspective every week.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If we're talking about that, like I felt like Keisha was not excited for anything on the first pregnancy.
Life in general, you know?
Yeah. And in hindsight, like now I look at it and I understand it because it feels like so much of like what she thought she wanted in life and what she thought was important was just totally stripped away from her. And like
For the best, though. Let me tell you what, my higher self had a plan. She came in like a wrecking ball, but I needed that because if this all hadn't happened, I would still be at that company, probably working my way up the corporate ladder. And I fucking hate corporate. I hate the corporate game. You know what I mean? But I guarantee you that's where I would still be, being like, oh my God, please let me continue to suck your dick.
okay, well,
Not actually, figuratively, not literally. But that's how I imagine the corporate ladder.
bad time to say I like the corporate ladder. Um, but anyways,
He does though, because he plays the game with men. Not that kind of game, but
I'll F some D if I have to. Figuratively. Yes, too literally.
yet also who could be too sure. Anyways, continue.
I'm just saying, if the money's right, I might.
Okay. You're losing focus. You're talking about
Wiener.
yes. That's always you always fall back on that conversation, wieners. If you ever meet Chris in person for the first time, he's gonna tell you a wiener joke. And you know who's gonna be pissed off if I'm around? Me. Because it's the same joke recycled. Every single new person he meets, and I just wanna leave.
Should I tell it now?
Anyway, continue. No, you're not telling now.
Other,
You're losing focus.
other things that are different. I'm just a lot more mature. Or I think I'm a lot more mature.
Which is sadly he is, but also you can tell that he also is not.
Yeah, I'm also in a position that I can actually be a provider.
God bless.
Yeah, the first go around was certainly not in a position to be a provider. And so that actually brings me like a lot more comfort to know, like, even though yes, like another mouth to feed is, more expensive or like more bills. I know I can provide for my family, and like if Keisha doesn't want to work for a couple months, like I know that like bills will be paid and we'll be good to go. I know that like my kids will have clothes and food on the table. Now after also seeing like Keisha be a mom for the last 7 years, like I know that she's a great mom, and it's not so much like a question mark. I mean, I think I knew during her first pregnancy she would be a good mom, but now having like 7 years of proof, it's really easy to be like, yep, we got this. And same thing for me. Like, I love being a dad. Told you guys I always wanted to be a dad, but like,
With the 50 names in his phone.
yep. But now actually having some practice, like, I know what to expect. I know what to do. I'm not going to tell you that like I'm always like fully prepared and like I have every answer, but I realize that a lot more of like being a dad is just showing up,
Learning to pivot.
and just be like flexible and constantly be a problem solver. And like, yeah, I mean, my dad, not great with advice ever, was just like, you just got to keep showing up. There's going to be good days and bad days. And yeah, I think for me, like, just constantly try to like show up to the best of like who I am and who I can be for both my daughters.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I've said this already, but just literally not being depressed the whole pregnancy, that's a whirlwind. It's a lot happier, right? Also having the tools this time. I've told you guys I wasn't into this work until postpartum, like 3 years postpartum. So having the tools to shift out of any reflection, like relatively quick, has been game changing, because there was at the beginning, like week 6 or 7, I did start to get not necessarily nauseous, but like my stomach was uneasy feeling. Now, if I didn't have these tools, I would have set in it, but I have the ability to use my intuition to channel the energetic root cause and to figure out where in my life is causing me, what emotional imbalance am I holding on to that's causing me to experience this symptom? And then I can shift it. And so that went away in 2 days, right? And then I experienced round ligament pain for like 2 days. And then I did the same thing. So it's really cool having the ability to use your intuition and figure out the emotional root behind these things, so I don't have to sit in it. Because if it would have been the first pregnancy, I didn't have these tools, I would sit in the symptoms until I would go to my holistic doctor, and like he would help relieve for sure. Maybe he got rid of some, but like having the ability to do it on my own and like not having to deal with outside noise, not having to deal with like, oh, this is just how it is. You know what? Oh, you're depressed? Take a magic pill. You know what I mean? Which I didn't do that when I was prenatal depression. I'm just anti-medication, but that's not the point. The point is having the tool has been game-changing. So
One last like big difference that I've had is I've removed like expectations. I used to be a big like
God.
this is what I expect. This is what I expect from you.
But he would have like imaginary, like, you know what I mean? Like delusions. Like he would have I'm not saying you can't have high expectations, but just what he would expect was crazy and he wouldn't communicate it. So it was up to me to figure out his own
Yeah.
expectations.
Well, what I've learned is like you can have expectations for yourself. You can't necessarily put expectations on other people because that starts to like cut in their free will. You can talk about like, and you should talk about like, well, this is like this is what I desire for my partner or what I desire for my family. And like when you have two parents in the mix, you have to have that discussion of like, if, especially when you're talking about like your family or if it involves anyone else, like you have to have that discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like during the first pregnancy, I had like the dumbest expectations. Like it could be like, just how I thought like Keisha should behave or kind of like a scumbag.
Kind of.
But
I fucking hated you for so long. We healed it. Now we're good.
We're fine. There's nothing.
Did I hate him a couple years? Not anything lingering anymore, but I did hate you for probably 2 years.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, that I feel like it's changed a ton going through this pregnancy so far. Like, I don't really have any expectations. And I don't allow myself to.
He also understands reflections too. So if I like, he's very critical of himself and he's very hard on himself in certain areas of life. And I always know whenever it's like amping up because Tate and I were just going after him like fucking little chihuahuas all day long. But he knows it now too. And he'll start doing the art to shift it.
But you're like, what you guys go after me on is
like just bizarre things.
Bizarre, but almost like more targeted of like the reflection.
Yeah, and it's like, let me like be clear with reflections. Like we're not consciously thinking about like how can we reflect him? Like no, we're just doing it because he's a match. It's in his energy field. And he will be hypercritical of himself, so then we'll be hypercritical. And now not necessarily of the same things that he's critiquing himself about. His is usually like financial related, business related, things like that. And Tate and I usually will like poke fun at him. And then he's already so like hard on himself that it amplifies that and he gets his feelings hurt and then he has to go solve his reflection and that's fine. But I will say, I'm giving you credit here. You're learning reflections and when you need to like heal these things.
Thanks, babe. Really appreciate that.
I will give credit where credit is.
She said when I saw reflections as I cry in the bathroom.
He probably does.
I don't.
Tate saw him cry one time in my closet, and she brings it up to this day. Remember that one time I saw you crying, Dad? She loves to bring it up. It's a great time.
This is how Dad cries.
She's a savage, man. Okay, last question. Did it take him a while to get used to intuition plus the work that you do?
Yep.
Yes, it did. He didn't come around. He didn't start doing the work until this year, well, I guess last year, like November.
Yeah.
No, so it's almost been a year. But I will tell you when I first started this, he wasn't like against it. He didn't tell me like don't do it, but he also knows if you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna do it. I was gonna do it full force anyway, so it just would have pushed me there quicker. He didn't even know I was a medium until after I had Tatum and my dad told. I never told him. My dad told him. And I was like, you know, she can talk to spirits, right? He was like, no, I quite literally didn't know that.
I feel like that should have been in kind of a disclosure. Another thing I tell friends before they have sex with someone, I'm like, you should find out if they're a medium or not.
Yeah, we're the best thing ever.
Yeah, I'm not saying stay away. Just know what you're getting into. It definitely took me a long time to come around on the intuition work and just like, I mean, it takes me a while to come around on anything, for being honest.
Yes. He's a creature of habit. You change anything and he's like...
Not a big change guy. I've gotten better about it though. But like, and not liking change is a matter of like wanting control. you guys might be seeing a theme, having expectations for other people. That's a control thing.
Look at him learning reflections.
Yeah, I'm basically gonna, it's like I live with someone that I hear this shit from all the time. But
I'm glad it's sticking. It only took 7 years.
yeah.
But yeah, it took him a while. He when I first started doing it, because I didn't you do practice reads for a while, and then then you move on to new people that you don't know, whatever. But he was always my practice reader, and he was so against me practicing on him, only not because he didn't believe what I was saying. He knew it was accurate. It was like spot on accurate, and it was bringing up uncomfortable feelings that he had not resolved, and he didn't like that. He was like, "You're making me feel things about my mom that happened, 20 years ago."
Bring up my mom, dude.
Well, dad, whoever.
Leave her out of this.
Sensitive subject. Point proven.
No, it's because you brought it up yesterday.
Yesterday, so we went to this furniture store, and we were trying to get an idea, of like, I'm just trying to figure out what new furniture I need because it's a bigger place. You know what I mean? Just get the idea. And so they have like these pretend houses set up, and they have like layouts so you can like basically get an idea of like how the certain piece would look in your house. Anyway, there was an office set up, and Tate sat at the desk, and Chris was on the couch, and she goes, "So what's wrong with you, sir?" Like pretending to be a therapist. It was so fucking funny. But anyway, Chris laid down, and he started to play pretend and say something. But I stepped in before he could talk, and I was like, "Well, it all started when I was 7, and my mom told me I'd never be good enough to play soccer." And I kept going on. And his eyes got big, and he goes, "What the fuck? We were just playing pretend. Why'd you have to go so far?"
It's when my inner child died.
No, literally. That's why he's bringing it up today. He's still rattled. He's like, "Damn, she was accurate."
I mean, I know it, all right? Gotta go give that little boy a hug, tell him he was good enough. And that's why I'm very accomplished based, or was, in like how I could be loved.
Very conditional loved growing up.
Very.
It was, you had to achieve something to it. Don't get me wrong, they loved him, but it's like to experience like the affection, the things that you experience just for existing,
Yeah.
He had to accomplish certain things. And his mom would tell you, the boys aren't the smartest.
I mean, we're not dumb.
You're smart, but you're not Asian smart like she wanted.
No, I mean, literally when it came to applying for colleges, she was like, "Don't put down that you're Asian." She was like, you're smart. You're not smart like the Asians are. Smart for a white guy, not for the Asians." I was like, okay. Caucasian.
Caucasian.
And it worked. Got into college.
Anyways, continue about like how long it took you to get on board for this, and what made you like have that shift where you're like, okay, she's on to something,
Probably, I don't know. It was multiple years. It was like 2 or 3.
It was longer than that.
Okay, it might have been 4. But
when I left my corporate job, he thought I was cuckoo bananas. He was like, "This makes no logical sense." It didn't. It didn't make any logical sense. I just had that intuitive pull.
I mean, the timing was bad because I had just left my job.
Well, we didn't live together. I paid my own rent. You paid your own rent.
I'm just saying the timing was still suspect.
Anyways.
And I was moving back in, like.
You moved in March. I left my job in January.
Okay, well, still.
And he had a job when he moved in, so.
Yeah.
Again, intuition knew.
Yeah, I don't know. It took me like 3-4 years. I think I got tired of like things blowing up in my face via reflections. And then I was just like, all right.
They would get so bad that he'd be like, okay, Keisha, what is it? Because I've tried everything and nothing is working. And I'd be like, I got you.
Yeah.
That's what I told you 3 years ago.
And then I come back to me like, this is actually a pretty good idea. Have you thought about this?
Or, I actually applied the tool and I got a raise. Or I hit my bonus. Or I got a new job. Weird. Crazy how that works.
And this is what I mean about finding a way to love your partner, even when you don't necessarily always agree with.
Well, what was your thought when I left my corporate job for this work?
I mean, when you left your corporate job,